What are Earthlings?
Earthlings are mystery box NFC enabled collectible figs that are available at retail in Australia right now. And they look like this when you unpack them and unbox them. So they're all cube shaped. They each represent a different character. And they, as I said, have an NFC tag kind of embedded in the bottom of them that is then scanned into the game using iPhone or Android phones and the NFC reader built into them, which will then procedurally generate and hatch a unique version of that character. And then the figs themselves are tradable amongst other players of the game, which allows you to expand your collection, building lineages, collecting mutation points with each trade that happens, and subsequently, as other players are playing with their characters that are attached to your lineage, you get benefits in game for that. And then it's a video game that you are playing in order to rebuild Earth, which is the Earthlings' cube-shaped planet, which got destroyed when the moon crashed into it. And the moonlings inadvertently, shattered the Earthlings' world.
So, talk me through this thing first. I love the initial, like the concept of physical meets digital. What made you go down that path?
We have actually been, kind of building at the convergence of physical digital connected play, for a number of years now. And my wife and I had a company, back in 2017. We made Bluetooth connected fidget spinners with motion sensors inside of them that were game controllers for iOS and Android. Some other folks on our team worked at Osmo, which again was kind of preschool oriented physical digital play and education. And then one of the co-creators of Earthlings was at Sphero, and they made the BB-8 robots. And so we've kind of been working in this field for quite a while, and we're all very passionate about the convergence of physical digital play.
Going back, so what made you come up with the Earthlings concept? Like, why Earthlings?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it wasn't called Earthlings when we first came up with it nearly 4 years ago and started working on it, but it was initially an expansion or kind of an extension of our Beasts of Balance tabletop game IP, which also has NFC enabled artifacts that you then stack on a plinth and kind of build up, and that brings a world to life on screen. That game wasn't very portable. It was also kind of expensive to make and to buy, which means it had a more limited install base, about 100,000 people or something like that around the world. And we wanted to make a game that took the magic that we saw happen every single time a kid or an adult, scanned in one of those NFC tags of those beasts and plopped it on the plinth, and the thing kind of came to life inside of this virtual world. That was just magical, and then that married up with this idea of, we really set out to make the world's best trading platform, collectible toy, and game. And it was kind of those things that were marinating together as ideas that ultimately kind of came to be known as Earthlings. But it was a nearly 4 year journey to get from those ideas to where we are today and what we launched at PAX a few weeks ago.
The journey, what's it been like?
It was a 4 year journey, largely because we're a small studio. And, at the very beginning of all of this, we were a very, very small team. There were probably less than a handful of us at the beginning. And we were, kind of in a very scrappy way, trying to find our way to building this toy line, the game, the animated series, the comics, kind of all of it. We never had much capital to work with, along the way. And so it happened very slowly, but yeah, it was a lot of iteration. It was, trying to figure out, who the Earthlings were as characters, what the art style was going to look like. Once we started to narrow in on that, then it was like, why are they why are they cube shaped, right? Like, why are they're voxel characters, in a voxel world and live on a cube shaped voxel Earth? Um, but the toys are obviously cubes, and it's kind of bringing all of that together, and then along the way building the game. Kind of designing and prototyping the figs, kind of working through the manufacturing process on those, writing the scripts, and working with the production partners on the animated series. And there's a whole bunch of things that had to happen, and it was a lot of fun to build all of it. It was a lot of work, and the team's grown obviously since then. So it's not just a handful of us anymore, but yeah, it was just it was a journey, and one that I would repeat again because it was just an enjoyable one.
I've actually got one here. I haven't opened it from
Yay!
PAX. While I open it, what was PAX like and getting the experience to, I mean, get it in the hands of the attendees?
Yeah. Yeah, so you actually have a seed series, Earthling. So that was four specific characters that are only available either at PAX or EB Games was distributing some of them. There were a few other places that we had those available as well. But you couldn't purchase those, right? Those were, purely just kind of get them in the hands of early players for free. Gives you that unboxing experience, figure out which character you got. You might know that now. What
Yep.
did you get?
I got. Uh, which way is it up? I'm pretty sure it's that way.
Ah, Mouquet, our flower cow.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, so you get that initial reveal, and then of course you can take the game and use the NFC reader in your phone and scan that in and get the digital reveal of that character. They're all procedurally generated. Um, but at PAX, it was all about, we kind of took over the queue hall for the
Yeah.
last 30 minutes prior to doors opening. We got to tell folks in the queue hall about Earthlings. We gave away the seed series, that you just opened up, gave away the first issue of the comic to a bunch of people. And it was really just our coming out party, for Earthlings. It was that initial moment where we let thousands of people know what we had been working on for the past nearly 4 years, and got to see how they reacted. And the response was overwhelming. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better place to launch, other than at PAX. So we're very happy with that.
You've launched it initially in Australia and New Zealand. Talk me through the process of coming up with the decision just to do a, I guess, an exclusive location launch before launching globally.
There's a variety of factors were involved in that. Mobile games, especially like free-to-play mobile games, which Earthlings is, I often will do what they call a geo beta. So, it's geo-locked. You can only get it in, it's not often Australia that they would do this, but it could be a Nordic country, it might be New Zealand, it depends, usually a smaller country. So that was always something that we wanted to do, just kind of get it out in market, see how people react. But there is a complication with us in that in order to really get a gauge on how people are responding to it, we also need the figs to be available. And so there's a physical component to this and distribution and retail and all of that. And so we had been talking to some potential partners, kind of big toy companies from around the world about partnering on this. And there was a point at which we weren't sure if we were going to get a deal done, if we were going to find the right partner. And we decided, you know what, we're just going to do this. Doesn't matter. We're going to do it on our own if we have to. And and so we decided that we were going to launch either Australia or New Zealand as that initial market, because as a small studio, indie devs, we did not have the budget to launch globally all at once. That was not possible. And so we were just gonna, take on a market that we felt was the right size, that we could kind of get some data, understand what people were liking, what we needed to work on. And then we wound up deciding to do this with Moose, and they decided to do it with us. And they asked us how we were thinking about going to market. We explained the strategy that we had up to that point, and they said that they liked it. They're Australia-based, kind of founded in Melbourne a number of years ago, global toy company now. They don't normally just launch in Australia these days, but they liked the approach, and that's how we decided to do it. So, and honestly, it was the right decision. There's so many moments in the past several months, but especially the past month since we launched, that I've been grateful that we decided just to launch in Australia, and then go global next year. So it's been a great learning experience, and the Australia gamer community has been the most marvelous group of folks that we could have wanted playing the game initially. So I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Started at PAX. Was that the initial launch? And then you've kickstarted
Yeah,
there. I mean, what a great way to kind of get it into the hands of the consumers. I can remember walking into the queue halls Saturday and Sunday, and everybody was getting handed it, and it was amazing. I can't remember what my mates got, but as I said, I knew I had one lying around that I hadn't opened. I waited for the time to open it. What better way to open it than in front of the people that actually made the game? But
incredible.
So, what was talk us through PAX Australia for a second? Like, what was the experience outside of Earthlings,
Oh my goodness. It's so
or
funny.
was there an
So
experience outside of Earthlings?
I know, yeah. That's the funny thing in this response. So you were in the queue hall, so at least one of those days, right? And we were there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Um, I remember getting up on stage Friday, as we were kind of introducing the day one packs, kind of queue hall folks to Earthlings and saying, yeah, saw the Cult of the Lamb booth and saw the Nintendo and whatever. Like there were a whole bunch of things that I saw in the days leading up to PAX because we had early access to the exhibit hall and everything to set up. And I had the short list of booths that I wanted to stop by, the things I wanted to see, and I was like, I'm excited to see this and this and this. And then Saturday, I got up on stage and I'm like, I said yesterday I was going to go see this, this, and this, but I didn't get to it. And so today I'm going to see those things. And then Sunday, I think I had realized that there was no chance I was going to get to see any of those things because all I did was PAX and Earthlings, and we sold out both Saturday and Sunday. We sold through everything we brought for the entire weekend by Saturday night. And then we had to raid the warehouse at Moose late Saturday night and bring a van in and load up a bunch more for Sunday. And then we sold those out within 5 hours of doors opening. And by that point, we were all dead. They were like 15-hour days. And, so it was amazing. It was everything that we wanted it to be, and I did not get to do anything I wanted to other than launch Earthlings, which probably was perfect for what it should have been.
Now, what can people expect when they start playing the game?
Yeah. So you install the game. If you want to understand all the events leading up to what happened at the start of the game, you can tune in on YouTube at Earthlings and check out the YouTube animated series. So it's 60 minutes of content that kind of tells you the story of what happened to Earth before the game kind of kicks off. But once you get in there, you find yourself on a what we call a chunk of Earth. It's just a little piece of Earth that's left over after the rest of the planet was shattered when the moon crashed into it and the moonlings accidentally destroyed the Earthlings world. And then your job is to rebuild Earth, to restore it to its former glory and the home that the Earthlings have come to love, and to repopulate it with the Earthlings that were once there. And so, you start off with this little piece of Earth. You're going to heal some scars, gather some resources. You're going to, earn your first heart for healing all the scars. You're going to then walk up to the edge of the world and expand that chunk to a second chunk. The world's entirely procedurally generated, so every player's version of Earth that they're building is different. And you get that initial moment of like expanding to that chunk is just a really like satisfying, kind of feeling when you do that. You're going to encounter moonlings, which we're not too happy with because they destroyed our world, and so we battle those moonlings and yeet them back off of our Earth to their moon. Um, and you continue down that path, right? You're ultimately going to do a bunch of crafting, terraforming. You're going to make the world your own. You're going to scan in your Earthlings. You're going to trade those with friends and other players, which expands your collection and their collection. And now you have more playable characters in the game. And you've, of course, got all the lineages that are growing as a result of those trades. And the benefits that come along with that, allowing you to mutate and level up your characters. But yeah, it's kind of full featured game. I think the thing that was kind of funny at PAX, I had so many people who were at the booth, picking up their figs and kind of unboxing and that. And so many times people are like, yeah, the game's actually really good. And at first I was like, well, that's a backhanded way of saying you like the game. It's like, you're surprised. But then I realized it's because they were there not because of a mobile game, right? They didn't come here because they're playing mobile games most of the time. They're playing console games and PC games, and that's the type of gamer that's a PAX. And they're not used to a mobile game kind of being at that quality level that the games that they're used to playing are, right? And I think that's the thing that's a little bit odd about Earthlings is that we built it on mobile because we wanted it to be portable for the trading and everything. But ultimately, it's something that could very easily belong on a console or PC as well.
Yeah, I feel like at PAX there's a lot of expectation. So you obviously have your Nintendo booths and all the Xbox booths.
Yeah.
So the big name booths and all the games. Oh, we're going to be able to try this, and then, I mean, PAX Rising, being an indie game person, it's kind of interesting to see that most of these games don't have the advertisements. So like before PAX, I didn't even know what Earthlings was, and then
Yeah.
it's like, oh wow, oh this is actually like I think that's the common thing with a lot of PAX attendees. They're like, the expectations for a lot of the big stuff is up here, and then it's, oh, this is the stuff I
Yeah.
didn't know about. Oh, wow, like there's been no promotion beforehand. It's just been straight into it. But yeah, well done on that.
Thanks. I think the PAX audience, the cool thing about the PAX audience is that yeah, obviously they want to see this latest stuff from Nintendo and Xbox and whoever else, right? The bigger studios. But they're really there to check out the latest indie games, to try them out, and to kind of immerse in that side of the video game culture as well. So it really was a perfect place for us to launch.
Going back to the minifigs now, you've done it quite differently. A lot of collectibles like the doubles, the
Yeah.
duplicates. Talk me through how you solve this.
Yeah, I mean, look, like these are mystery box figs, right? So they're blind. You don't know which character you're getting. There are 24 different characters that could be in this particular box. You open it up, you figure out which one you got, you scan the NFC tag. Um, dupes are a natural part of blind box. It happens, and you're right. Usually you get that second one of the same thing you already got, or the third one or the fourth one. It's even worse, and you're disappointed. We really turn that on its head because each one of these scans into the game. The digital character that hatches from this fig, this is a treep, so it's one of the characters, um, is procedurally generated. So it has a unique visual look, right? Different kind of mixed and match combinations of visual attributes. It also has a unique stat seed. So ultimately, your stats are going to be unique every time you scan a treep in. Um, and this is a not only a key to that character, but is a key to trading in the game. And so for each fig that you own, you can trade as many, you trade one for one. So I trade this treat to you for your Bizkin or whatever other character you have. We both keep the digital character. Like I'd keep my treat that's in the game. You'd keep your Bizkin that's in the game. But when we finish the exchange and scan in what we just received, we get another character added to the game. And so even though I got a duplicate fig, this fig, when traded again and again and again, gets me more and more characters ultimately, right? And so that helps with the duplicate thing. There's other elements of the game that we can give you benefits and buffs in the game as a result of having multiple of a certain character that can help you in game, which is not something that you typically get. But even if I get another treat, I'm excited to scan that in, figure out which version of that character I got. I get a cooler looking version of that character in game, a more powerful version of that character in game. And then again, I can trade it away and get another character in exchange.
So before we end up, is there anything else you want to tell people? Where can they find the game? What's in store for the future of the game?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, the game's available in Australia and New Zealand on the iOS and Android app stores. In Australia, the figs are available at a variety of retailers, pretty easy to figure out where those are through the earthlings.com website. And in terms of what's in store, we're launching globally next year. So you'll see Earthlings in the US, North America, Europe, Asia, kind of all over the place next year. We're going to open up the multiplayer experience in the coming weeks. So we've got a big update coming out with that. So you'll be able to join your friends' worlds, play with each other, battle moonlings together, kind of build those worlds together in online multiplayer. And we've got a whole bunch of other, fun features, new characters, and everything else kind of planned, into next year as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and this interview.
Yeah, thank you so much too. It's been great. I really appreciate you taking the time.